Hello, this is Matthew with The Nurtured Soul. The purpose of our YouTube channel here, of course, is to help us to understand ourselves and how we're made, and then to be able to help you to really navigate your thoughts and your feelings, and to help teach you how to really care and nurture for your soul. And when you nurture your soul, it's going to lead to a healthy, fulfilled, successful life. And that's what all of us want. And so that's what the purpose of this channel, that's what we're doing. We're going to be giving you resources and videos that are going to help you in that process. And if you will take and apply the things that you're going to hear on this channel, it will help you to accomplish exactly that. Now, we've got today's video. Today's video is a very timely, appropriate video with all that's going on in our country. We've got a lot of chaos. We've got, of course, the protests and the riots. And, of course, we're still dealing with COVID-19. And I want us to see today how all of this is directly related to the soul and is actually a soul problem. And the truth is, a lot of these things are happening because the soul is actually protesting, and the soul is rioting and is at a place of unrest. And here's what happens. God gave each one of us a soul, and that soul is what makes us alive. That's what makes us in the image of God. That makes us different than any other creature that's been created. And we are to tend to that soul. We are supposed to care for that soul. And I want to say this because I think it's very important. What makes a person valuable? What makes them worth something or special? Their identity is in their soul. Their soul that is given by God. And we right now are having such an outcry and such a problem in our country with the cries of racism and looting and protests and then all the other issues with people's jobs and unemployment and all those things that are going on. But I want us to understand something. Every person has a soul. That's what allows you to connect to God. That's what allows you to connect with your fellow man, your common man. All mankind, men and women, children, all people have souls. This is what God looks at us and gives us value with. So I want you to understand something. When God looks at us and how He created us, there are not black souls, there are not white souls, there are souls. There are not brown or yellow souls, there are not blue police souls and politician souls and whatever else you want to put in there. There's just simply souls. When God sees mankind, He sees the inner man, the soul. Now here's what's happening. When you and I do wrong, when we make a selfish decision, when we tell a lie, when we are dishonest, when there's an injustice that takes place, when we are caring more about ourselves than our neighbors, as we do wrong, we are damaging our souls. We are hurting our souls. Now, what's important about this is a wounded soul or a neglected soul is not able to love their neighbor. A wounded, neglected soul is going to end up doing wrong. It's the soul that has been wounded, the soul that has been neglected is going to cry out, is going to riot for some attention, for some help. Now, too long here in America, we have, as human beings, we've neglected our souls. The soul needs rest. When we are constantly hurrying, when we are constantly working too many hours and not taking rest, when we do not have recreation, when we don't take time to evaluate our souls or to look into our lives and to self-reflect, when we don't take the time to connect with God and spend time with Him, then our soul gets hurt. A soul that is hurt is going to lead to actions that are hurtful, that are wrong, that are damaging. And today in America, what we've got is we've got all of these things that are plaguing our country that really come back to, we're looking at these actions. Well, people aren't treating people right, and there are police officers, there are corrupt police officers, and there are corrupt people and people that are doing wrong, and all of that is true, but it's not the action itself. We need to go back to the root of the issue, and the root of the issue is that it is a soul problem. You cannot be work-driven, no rest, no reflection, no soul care, and expect your actions to be anything but hurt and damage because they follow your soul. So here's what God has done. God gave us something called truth, and truth is how He fixes and helps our souls. Our souls are repaired by truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. It is when we run from the truth, hide from the truth, deny the truth, that we begin to have problems, and it hurts our souls. Now, we don't make the truth. We don't get to change the truth. We don't create the truth. The truth is not what we want it to be. The truth is absolute, given by God. But that truth was not given to hurt us. The truth was given to help us. All right? So what we've got to do is, if you're going to nurture your soul, you have to be willing to receive truth. You have to be willing to take in that truth and acknowledge it. Now, here's where I know today we have got most of the protesters and people. If you are racist against any race, if you're mistreating any group of people, you have not received truth. You have not been willing to receive truth. Now look, it doesn't matter. And in our country, what we've got an issue is right now is you've got George Floyd, his life was taken. It was an injustice. It was wrong. It was done by a corrupt police officer. There are corrupt police officers, but not every police officer is corrupt. That is a lie. The truth of the matter is there are corrupt police officers, just like there are corrupt every other occupation out there. There are people that are corrupt, just like there are citizens and politicians that are corrupt. Now, we don't throw out all of them just because there are some that are corrupt. So we've got to be willing to listen to the truth. Here's what the truth does, though, and here's how you can tell who's received truth and who hasn't. Truth is the great equalizer. Truth will always cause you to look internal first, and it will humble you. Truth causes you to look inside and say, I am guilty, I am not perfect, I am not innocent. Now here's the truth of the matter. No one on this earth is absolutely perfectly innocent. We are all guilty of something before God. We've all broken some part of God's law. Some more than others, but some in different ways than others, but all of us are guilty. Okay? So here's what truth does. Truth lets me know I'm guilty, I've done wrong, someone has shown me mercy, I need to be merciful to others, but it allows me to have a spirit of humility. These people that are going around looting stores and stealing and attacking people and vandalizing things have not received truth. They have a hurt soul, they have a wounded soul, they have a neglected soul. And in America, if you want to see real change, it's going to take more than a protest. It's going to take more than people putting up posters or screaming and hollering. We've got to get the word out, yes. But what we need more than anything is people that are willing to address their soul need, to care and nurture for their soul. And this is a huge thing that we're going to have to be willing to do, and we see this change one person at a time. So as I receive truth, before I look to, as Jesus taught, before I go to get the speck out of somebody else's eye, I've got to be willing to get the beam out of my own eye. So if I want to help, and I want to see change in America, and I do with all my heart, as I receive truth, I must first start right here with Matthew and my condition. Am I treating my neighbor right? Am I loving people? Is there anybody that I'm discriminating against? Is there an attitude in my life or a thought that needs to change? According to what? According to truth. That's what it is all guided by. And so this is why this is so important. Look, people are hurting, and when people are hurt, they lash out. When people have neglected their own souls, they do damage to those around them. We live in an America that predominantly has people that are damaged internally in their souls, and rather than deal with that soul issue, they lash out at those around them. This is the issue, people. This is what we're dealing with, okay? Let me give you some things that'll help you, some things that'll help nurture your soul, and that will change you right off the bat. First of all, we've got to do this. Truth demands that we value all life. We value all life and respect all life just as God does. Now, if you want to see a change in America, before you can go and try to help anybody else with this, you need to personally today make a decision that you will value all life the same. That it is all important to you, and all life has a right to exist, given by God. That means this: that's black lives, that's white lives, that's yellow, brown, whatever other color we've got that you want to put in there. All of it is of equal value and importance to God and loved by God. That's important. Police officers' lives are valued by God. Homeless people. You know, it's interesting. Some people are going to bat for racial equality, but they'll mistreat homeless people. And then there are folks that, senior citizens. I'm going to tell you, there is a real problem and a discrimination and bias in America in some places toward the elderly community because they are dismissed as being of no value and of no good. That is despicable. All right, so if we're going to change things, we've got to value all life. All lives matter. How about unborn children? These babies in the womb, they are just as valuable as anybody else. So we've got to value all life. We've got to quit living in fear. All right? Quit living in fear. Listen, people have different opinions and different ideas. And I'm going to speak to Christians for a second because this is important. Look, you must respect and value people that have different beliefs and opinions. It doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean you change your beliefs. But I do want to give you some of these things. First of all, hear people out, listen to people, give them a chance to share where they're coming from. Now listen, I will tell you this: when people feel like they are not heard and nobody cares about them or what they're feeling or what they're going through, they get defensive. You cannot help or change people that are on the defensive. And so we must be willing to listen. We must be willing to ask questions. Ask people what they're feeling. Why do they think this way? Look, you are not changing your opinion just because you listen to what somebody has to say. Respect someone enough to listen to what they say or what they think. Now, you may learn something, and that'd be a wonderful thing. And that's my next point, is you can learn something from anyone. If you're willing to sit and have a conversation, if you're willing to listen, you can learn something. I want to challenge you to do this, is make a commitment that you're going to try to learn something from every person you come into contact with or come across. Now, you're going to have some level of respect or consideration if you're going to do that. But try to learn something from someone. And if you do, share that with them. Hey, I appreciate this conversation, and this is what I learned from you today. This is what you taught me, and that will be a help to them. I want to say this: don't attack the person. If you're going to have a conversation, you need to create a healthy, safe environment for someone to talk, to share, to listen. Do not attack people. Now look, you cannot love your neighbor as Jesus said. Jesus gave us a command to love our neighbor. You can't do that with a broken wounded, hurt, neglected soul. It takes a soul that is being refreshed and restored and strengthened in God to really honestly love your neighbor. Why? Because God is the one that made us that way, and God is the one that told us to love our neighbor, and He gave us an ability to do that with our soul when God breathed into us the breath of life and we became a living soul. So I want to challenge you. Listen to people, what they have to say. Create a safe environment for them as you talk through these things. And we've got to find a way for us to respect each other, hear from each other, share these things, but also realize this. You've got to decide that I am willing to be driven by truth, a truth that is bigger than me, a truth that is God, that is given by God, and so at the end of the day, I have to yield to truth, and I've got to yield to that truth in love. When we give truth and share truth, it needs to be done in a loving way. Look, nobody is being helped by blaming others. The first thing that needs to happen today is we need to first look and say, what needs to be addressed in my soul? Look, chances are your soul has been giving you warning signs for quite some time that it has been neglected. And we have been given an opportunity to hit the pause button in our lives over the last 10 to 12 weeks. And I'm thinking that maybe some of us still haven't got it yet. Your soul needs reflection. You need time to set aside and get alone and really search out your soul. You need to go to truth. We're here to help with that, by the way, and we'll be glad to do that for you. And then really take the time to look here first, and as you start to nurture your soul, you'll find that you are able to help others in the same process. So, hope this has been a help to you. If it is a help to you, would you consider subscribing to this channel, as our goal is going to be to help you to nurture your soul. As your soul gets nurtured, you will hopefully help others in the future. God bless. Have a wonderful day.